Hey, YouTube land. Today, we're going to talk about how I see the YouTube resellers out there and how they've helped me. And I think they can help you too, not just with reselling, but also your business in general. So we're going to talk about the actual people that I think can offer you a lot of value right now. So hope you guys are ready for a cool show. Welcome to the Prof Sales YouTube channel. If you've never been here before, I am Prof Sales.
And I'm just Ask Kaaren.
And on this channel, we talk about being a reseller. We talk about being in business for yourself. We talk about mindset, being positive, and just having a really cool, positive community here on YouTube, just for you to come and to be a part of and to hopefully learn and share with others what you know as well. So we are glad you're here. It is a Monday, which some people are saying in the chat, it's Motivational Monday, which, by the way, Kaaren, people can join the chat, can't they?
Oh, yeah, they can. Just jump on in there.
2 o'clock, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Eastern Standard Time, we come on, and you can be part of the show live. But if you have a question or comment, or you just want to, send a shout out to me after the show, you can do that too in the comments down below. And of course, they can also let us know that they're enjoying the content.
Yes. Arr, you're gonna like it, mateys. And so just stop talking for a second. So we also make funny faces, and sometimes we talk about things that aren't on topic, and we drink out of Hannah Montana mugs.
Mainly her. I drink out of my Suits You Just Got Lit Up cup, if you've ever watched that show.
So, it's a positive place. That's what we want to set out for everyone to begin with.
Yes.
We don't talk about other people. We're constructive in our criticism, etc., etc.
Yes, and I'm going to say right off the bat something that I hope doesn't need to be said, but somebody inevitably will send me a comment or a message or post a comment after this video is done, I'm sure anyway, and say, hey, Prof, liked your list, but what about so-and-so?
What, do you have something against so-and-so? Why didn't you include so-and-so? Jason did one of these lists a while ago, and I don't even remember the context or why you did it.
It was math.
But immediately it was like, oh, you must not like, or what do you have against, or that's not it, people. If we talked about every person that makes an impact on the YouTube reseller verse here, we would be here for days. It would be like another 100 listing day, right? We'd be on for 9 hours. And that's not it. So that we're clear, this is a list of people that it's like a Prof Sales time capsule, right? Yeah, but it brings us all the way up. It brings us from your humble beginnings to present day. And it kind of touches on influencers. Is that the trendy word?
Sure.
Influencers whose content had an impact on your beginnings, your middle, and your present day.
Yes. Yes.
And is that a good way to sum up what we're going to talk about today?
It is, because as Kaaren was saying, there's no way possible that I can create a video where I mention every single person in the YouTube universe, much less the big universe, but even the YouTube universe that has impacted me, or that I've learned something from, or I've had a great interaction with, or I've networked. That is impossible. So I'm going to share with you I made this list off the top of my head, and some of these people are not resellers.
No,
true story.
You know people that aren't resellers?
Well, I don't know if I really know them, but I know them on YouTube. Is that knowing them? I'm not sure. But again, please do not take offense if you are someone else that I've had contact with, or if someone you think should be on this list is not on there. It is not about trying to hurt anybody's feelings or leave anybody off. It's just impossible to talk about everyone. And some people I don't even know exist in some cases. And if you have a comment and you have somebody on the list that you think is a really big positive influence on you and your business and reselling or what have you, add them in the comments. I'll check them out. I mean, there's always people coming through that I don't know anything about. I've never heard of. I've never watched. And these are just some of the ones that over the last couple years really have had an impact on me, maybe above and beyond. So we're gonna do some screen shares, and we're gonna talk about each of these people behind their back. No, it's not behind their back. It's talking about it right in public.
We should actually probably say I suggested, so that when y'all come back on later and we're like, why didn't you tell us? I suggested that you invite everybody. Did I not? Just so we're clear.
You did, and I didn't do that because I'm terrible.
No. So it's not like this is some, it just is what it is. Jason made a list. We're going to talk about it. And there's no other motive or anything. And away we go.
Yeah. So we're going to get right into it here, guys. All right. So we're going to do a screen share, and I'm going to show you the first person's channel. I got to give a shout out to my people here because, you know, I love these guys, but I'm going to talk about one in particular here. And again, this is in no particular order. It was just kind of how I was going through things, like looking at some of my subscribes and like some of the channels I subscribe to and so on. And this first person is none other than Chris, the Bonafide Hustler. This is his channel. You may have seen it before. And Chris has an amazing wealth of knowledge about reselling. He has been in this game a long time. I probably first ran across him maybe on like a bike video off of Craigslist or something that he bought because he loves bikes and things like that. Big channel, 27,000 subscribers, but Chris has got a big heart too. He really is a super, super positive guy. I've known him for a while now, but I got a chance to meet him in person at the Green Room event back in July. And just, you know, very genuine, very helpful, has always been super appreciative to me. And I've learned a lot from him and his channel. He's also one of the founders of the Green Room. So the Bonafide Hustler is definitely a channel that you want to check out. I've learned a lot from. So that's the first one. All right, coming back. But yeah, Chris is a great guy. And I have really valued my relationship with him, my friendship with him, even not just a relationship. And, you know, he's one of those people too, that is committed to developing this like-minded group of community. And, you know, that appealed to me right off the very beginning, even before I knew him. He actually came here near Charlotte. This was, I guess Christmas 2 years ago, maybe. I might get beginning, but we were conversing a little bit. We couldn't actually connect that day. I was already a member of the Green Room, but we weren't able to actually connect. But we were at least talking on Facebook Messenger, and he was giving me some tips about some things. And he didn't really know me, other than he knew I was in the Green Room, which is great. But Chris is a really good guy.
Yeah, and I like that he also, I think from the beginning, also shares his passion for health.
Yeah, that's something I am not anywhere near his level. Chris is a fitness fanatic. I think that might be the right word. So yeah, Chris is awesome, and I really enjoyed getting to know him. So let's move on to channel number two. Hopefully we'll be able to keep up with these. I'm terrible about these things.
Well, you know, and if you spend 10 minutes on each one, we're going to be here all day.
We're not going to spend 10 minutes on each one. All right, next up is none other than Raiken Profit, one of Chris's partners in crime, so to speak. Steve and I have done many videos together, many collaborations. I remember reaching out to Steve early on with a question. I don't even know what the question was. It was something to do with clothing, because he's one of the first people that I found on YouTube. And I think that a lot of people probably know Steve. And Steve is an entrepreneurial whirlwind. I mean, I think that's the right word, right? Because he has diversified himself out into a lot of different areas. And I have a lot of respect for that, because that is not easy to do. It's hard enough to kind of really to focus on and get a lot of traction in one area. But Steve has diversified his brand out so that he's not totally dependent on any one revenue stream, something which I'm trying to do a little bit more of as well.
Yeah. He's well, I mean, when I first saw him, I had mixed emotions. You know, he's kind of all over the place, but he's all over the place in a good way. Like, we've gotten to know him over the last couple of years.
Right.
And it took after that first response, because to me, that's sort of like a benchmark starting place for people that have come in and out of your reselling life, I guess, is that when you reach out to them, what happens? Like, I don't know if you guys have noticed, like when you send somebody an email or a note or something personal, if they get back to you or not. Sometimes I know it's not possible, like with some of these bigger content providers or whatever, where it's just where they probably hire somebody to do it for them. But I think just about everybody here that you've reached out to has reached back, and it's turned into something really cool as a result. And it started with that first note, that first question, right? You have to start somewhere, and then it grew from there. And we're going to talk about other people through here that have been the same exact thing. And it's been, you never know. So if you're thinking about asking a question or something personal of someone, you know, send it out there, put it out into the universe. But don't get discouraged if you don't hear back right away. Because I know in the case of Steve, I think it took a while for him to.
Yeah, before we started connecting to certain things and so on. And
the rest is history. I mean, you guys are working on projects together.
I know, it's just grown and grown. And I'm excited about where the future will go with that as well, which is cool. And you don't always find that.
Oh, I don't know about this next one. I don't know how I feel about this guy.
This next guy, I don't know. I mean, I guess I got to throw him on here because, no.
Well, he lives right around the corner.
Yes,
well, no, not anymore.
Endless Entrepreneurs, otherwise known as Luke Henson. Luke is a fellow Charlatan, and Luke is someone who actually reached out to me. He was watching the channel. He reached out to me. This was earlier this year, I guess. Yeah, I think it was this year. It was this year. No, it was 2017, pretty sure. And we didn't know that we lived right around the corner from each other, which is so funny. He's another clothing reseller. Luke has got one of the best analytical brains of anybody I've ever met. He can take a situation, especially a business question, proposition, and just deconstruct it in a way that just baffles me. And I think I'm pretty good at doing that. But Luke is on another level for sure. He's finance. He's been in like finance and things like that in his career, and he has aspirations to be a full-time, reselling in his own business. And he is moving in that direction very, very quickly. Super nice guy, super genuine. He's about business. He does not take things personal, which I love that for business. I love anybody who can keep it not personal.
So he's just a great guy. He even gave my son work over the summer, helped him with his Haiti missions trip. And again, one that I had mixed emotions about, but we met him. He was actually the first.
She has mixed emotions about me.
Yeah, well, I'm one of them snap judgers. No. But we met at IHOP next to one of the Goodwills down here. And he was one of those, I think he was one of the first local reseller meetups that we had, right? And I didn't know how I felt about that. I was kind of in the school of thought that, this is competition. I don't know how I feel, but I couldn't have been more wrong. He is one of just the nicest, most genuine fellas that we have ever met. And we've had big group meetups since then. And he's just a great guy. Yeah.
If you haven't reached out to Luke, Luke is super approachable. And you absolutely should, especially if you have questions like just even a general business question. I mean, I was in a mastermind group with Luke for a while, and he just would say things, and I'm like, I had never even remotely considered that and should have, and that just always amazes me when people are like that. So we love us some Luke here in C-Town, but let's move on to our next victim.
Speaking of mastermind groups.
Yeah, this next guy, the only thing about this next guy is he lacks ambition. He
just doesn't put himself out there.
He doesn't put himself out there. He doesn't set very big goals. He doesn't really try to achieve the seemingly impossible. All right, that's all nonsense, obviously. We're talking about Chris Lynn, 10K on the Bay, who when he first said, yeah, I'm going to build a 10,000 listing eBay store, I'm like, haha, yeah, right. Yeah, okay. And he is well on his way to doing that. Chris is out there on the West Coast. Chris is a social marketing just genius, I think. And he has some background in that, but man, he is good at that. And he's also building, I don't even know how many stores Chris is building now. It seems like it grows every time I talk to him. But but the thing I love about Chris that's different from a lot of people is Chris asks a lot of questions. He does not come to the conversation presuming he knows everything. And he will tell you that. He's like, I don't know anything. I'm just trying to learn. And he has no hesitancy whatsoever about reaching out to someone else he's never even talked to before and ask them, hey, I noticed you're doing this in your business and that's amazing. And I'm really interested in your results. Tell me about that. Like that is not the easiest thing for a lot of people to do. So we'll come back to the thing. That is not super easy to do. And I love that about Chris. His channel, I mean, Chris covers every part of building a business, a massive eBay business, not just a little eBay business.
I love that he's not afraid to try anything or ask anything or just immerse himself in anything. Like he just puts it all out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can tell you guys, I mean, I've had numerous conversations and hangouts and things with Chris offline. He's exactly the same person. And that's one rule that Kaaren and I have always done our best to uphold is when we deal with people in really anything, but this community as well, we try to deal with people that are genuine on and off camera. Not that people always have personas, but sometimes, you know, we're all a little bit vain in some ways. We're all a little bit insecure about our place in this world. And it's easy sometimes in the moment when you're live in front of people to say something that's not quite right or to admit certain facts because it might push you in a negative light. And that's hard sometimes. And we all struggle with that. Chris is not that way at all. He will tell you how he's doing, what he's doing, how it's going for him. And it's the truth. So love Chris. He's amazing. And one of my favorite people to watch for sure.
It's funny in the chat, everybody's guessing and suggesting and guessing and suggesting.
Yeah, I know. That's pretty funny too.
Well, no, and they're saying things that just, yeah, that are about to be said again.
All right. Next up on our list, also someone who doesn't seem to have a lot of ambition.
He's so shy.
Just kidding.
This one.
Yeah. That is none other than Casey, the Rockstar Flipper, down in Florida. I think he's on the west coast of Florida, right? So he's a Florida guy like you, right?
I'm not a guy, but. Okay.
Well, he's a Florida person. I'm sorry. Whatever.
There's a lot of Florida people in the chat right now.
Casey's another person that I've had a lot of interaction with offline. And I love Casey. Casey has this spirit about him that's kind of hard to put your finger on and eat or quench. And he just goes after these amazing results that he's been getting with his business. He's not afraid to fail in things. He is not afraid to tell you what he thinks. He's very opinionated, which doesn't always rub some people the right way, but I respect that about Casey. I respect that you know where you stand with him. I respect that, you know, he's trying to build a huge business from a model that doesn't always support that, you know, going thrifting and hitting the bins a lot. He's got a massive YouTube channel because he connects with his viewers. I mean, he connects with them.
He's coming from a good place. I think that the passionate ones, the ones where their heart is in it and they genuinely want to make a difference and help other people. I think that you can only fake that so much. And I think that, you know, deep down inside of him is this desire to help other people, you know, just like, you know, we just all get there a different way. But yeah, I think he wants to make a difference and help people.
Yeah, I think that's a great point because Casey is one of these guys too who puts out a lot of content. Let me tell you something. As someone who doesn't put out as much content as Casey or Chris, our previous person, it's hard. It's hard. It's easy to put out content. It's hard to put out good content. And to put out great content is really difficult. And Casey's been really good at doing that for a long time. I think Casey has probably covered virtually every topic there is in reselling multiple times on his channel. And kudos to him because I'll start to do a topic sometimes and Kaaren will say, didn't we already talk about that? And I'm like, yeah, we did. You know, and I'm like, well, is there anything new? And then can we mine any new material? And then a lot of times there's not, but he has found a way to do that. And I have a lot of respect for that for sure. All right, next up.
Some ladies, perhaps.
Some ladies.
This is a fun one.
The ladies.
I have lots to say about this one.
Going back to the great state of.
What is it about Texas?
It's something about Texas, I'm telling you.
It's even in her name.
Texas gal treasures, Margaret, who, by the way, was one of the first people that I interviewed on my channel. I don't think she was the first, but she was one of the first.
And she's just been so
she
generous.
Did not know me. She acted like she was just, oh, of course, I've watched blog. But I'm thinking, there's no way she knows me. She doesn't, because not a lot of people were watching me yet. And she was so gracious to come on the channel. And we talked. And Margaret is also one of my merch gurus.
Oh, let me talk about that part.
Yes, please do.
Okay, so how long have we been doing merch? Like
since earlier this year.
Okay. You suggested that I talk to Margaret.
Yes, I did.
And talk about she not knowing you from Adam. She didn't know me from Eve.
Right, because you weren't coming on the show
I
that
was
much
like,
at that point.
yeah. So I sent her a note, and like almost instantly she wrote me back. And it set the stage for what has become this wonderful relationship. Like she is a wealth. First of all, she's a wealth of knowledge on many, many things, but she has found one of many niches, but this merch thing that she's got going on is stout.
Yeah.
She is making, and as well as jewelry and other things. And she does these, it's just, there's no end. I was reading this morning, and I actually sent her a note on Facebook that her Patreon account is set up to actually help support other merch people. And if you join her Patreon, she'll give you designs. Like as part of the staggered membership, she'll give you a design. And it's brilliant. And she keeps evolving and growing and just making herself, and she has no hesitation sharing herself.
Right.
In all the ways and in all the things.
Oh, yeah.
And she, again, is just one of the most giving, open, just willing to help people that I've met here. Like she's just been so supportive and so helpful. She's great. So if you want to get into merch or print on demand or any other number of things that she's got her finger in, please. She's amazing.
Absolutely. Margaret's amazing. I'm hoping to meet her this year. Maybe we can meet her this year in Austin. Hopefully.
Oh, that would be nice. Oh, that's right. She skipped. Yeah, she said she would come this year.
Cool. Awesome.
We're going to hold her to that.
Yeah. So if you're listening, Margaret, you got to come. All right. Next up, I'm not sure this person needs much introduction. This is our first person who is not.
Well, technically not a reseller.
Although he did encourage people to resell. And that is.
I don't know if people are going to know who he is.
No, I mean, he's not really that present on social media or YouTube or anything like that.
So Google him. Maybe you haven't heard of him.
Yeah, Gary Vaynerchuk, otherwise known as Gary V, has a huge channel, obviously, almost 1 million subscribers. And let me just say this. I don't remember exactly when I started watching Gary V. Gary, long story short, took over his father's wine business, built it like 16x the business in terms of the size or something crazy like that. And now has a social media company as well, marketing. And he is just a force of nature. Gary is no nonsense. He's a super positive, encouraging guy. He encourages the hustle. He encourages you to do it. He encourages you to just execute and quit talking about things. He has great interviews. You can see down here, he's interviewing Tim Ferriss, T-Pain, Pedro Earp. I'm not sure who a couple of these people are, but so he has just this amazing capacity. And, Gary's he's like a little bit younger than us. I mean, he's not like a super young guy, and his drive alone is just nuts. Like, I don't know how the guy does it. I don't know how he goes that fast or keeps going that consistently. And Gary is a great place when you need a pickup, when you need that one bit of wisdom, maybe that'll take you through. He encouraged people to go thrifting this year and try to make, I think, $20,000 or something like that was the amount he told them to try to make. Someone says not suitable for work, Gary Vaynerchuk. Yeah, Gary drops a few F-bombs. A few might be an understatement, but they are poignant F-bombs, if there is such a thing.
All right, so yeah, that part took a little getting used to for me. But I find that I'm actually sharing a great many of his messages with my own son, because he doesn't sugarcoat it.
Mhm.
He doesn't, you know, paint you this fairy tale. And especially of late when he's talking to young people that are getting into this business or that business or whatever, he calls them out. You know, he calls them out when they're spending too much time in the research part of it, or they're making it into something that he's not. I'm sending things to Ben all the time from Gary Vee, because I think he's spot on. And if you're tough enough, if you're taking a genuine look at yourself and your own work ethic, and you're being honest, I think that his words will resonate with you as well. I think that he's spot on.
No, I agree. And people in the chat had some of the same things. Lauren had said, you know, check out his Instagram because he's super motivated. I agree. Gary loves Instagram. Super sharp guy, great entrepreneur, and super motivational. Next up is, let's see if
there's more.
There's more. I have more people.
And remember, folks, this is not a comprehensive, all-encompassing list.
Right.
It's just a snapshot.
Guess what state we're going back to? Texas. Tino, the soul advisor.
Oh, he's got a new thing. I didn't see that.
Yeah, Tino is probably known best for selling shoes, a lot of shoes.
Or better known as the nicest man on YouTube.
Yeah, he really is. I've actually never heard Tino say anything negative about someone. Like,
ever.
His most negative thing is like, yeah, boy. And that's about it. I mean, that's about it. You know, he is a super positive guy.
Super smart, intelligent, just wealth of knowledge when it comes to, you know, sourcing shoes, processing shoes.
I took this photo. I just always point that out. I took this photo right here. I want my royalties, Tino. Just kidding. But Tino's also written a couple really awesome shoe guides along with Steve Raiken about men's and women's brands, and now even has a video series about how to take care of shoes, like how to clean them up, how to fix things.
Like, he's really, you've met him. I'm like so jealous. Yes. I'm going this, like, there's no doubt. I'm going to Austin this year. I'm going to meet him. I'm going to meet the whole family, and I'm going to take that baby home with me. No, I'm just kidding, Tino. I'm not going to take your child home. But he is that guy. The guy that you see on YouTube is the same guy that he is. He is just the most, he's just so genuine, so generous. Like, he's super cool. Nicest person.
Yeah, again, somebody that I've had many conversations with offline, and just always is the same person, and super appreciative. And I've learned so much from him about shoes. It's not even funny. And what I've really learned is I still have a lot to learn. But Tino's amazing. All right.
Yeah, what is it about Texas?
I don't know.
We should have just broken this up and just done it like resellers by state.
I know, right?
Texas and Florida. Texas and Florida.
Texas and, well, this person is not in Texas.
Really?
Nope, they are not.
Aw.
So, Miss Lindy Glenn.
Speaking of positivity.
Yes, Lindy has a cool story that goes in with a great, she's evolving her business on her channel.
Yes, she is.
It's not even like she's come in and said, oh, I'm just established at this point. Like, you see this evolution with her, which is really cool. That's happened just every day and every week and every month. And she's someone also too who's had some challenges thrown her way.
Yeah. And
she's been very public about those and upfront, which I don't know that I would have been, but kudos to her and her strength for doing that. And I just think her channel is really inspirational to anybody who is in similar type situations.
Well, and more power to her. I mean, it speaks to her character. Whether you like what she says or does, she's being honest about it.
Right.
And in every case where we've reached out to her for input or to collaborate on anything, we haven't done a lot with Lindy personally, but she's been very supportive, and she's been very proactively responding. Anyway, she's a good girl.
Yeah.
And her message is pretty positive. So there you go.
Yeah. I love that anybody in this community that's like that, that's positive about things, is always, that's always an attractive quality. I think in this community, sometimes can be negative. You can let yourself fall into the negativity trap very easily. And she doesn't.
Well, you know what? She's for me, she speaks to the always like making lemonade, right? Whatever comes her way, she's going to pivot and make the best of it. You know, she did a series
great.
on, you know, hiring somebody. She talked in great detail about the ups and downs, pros and cons of that. Yeah, so there you go.
Yep, absolutely. Next up, I can't believe it, but we're going back to Texas. My gosh, what is going on down there? Tanya from Thrifty Treasures. Tanya and Margaret were two of the people again who came on the show very early on, did interviews with me, and she is super nice and super sweet. Met her in Austin, in Greenville. Again, just one of those people who's very nice, always helpful. Tanya I came on one night on the green room, and Tanya was doing a show on jewelry, and Tanya buys and sells a lot of jewelry for great profit, by the way, something which I know zero about. And I felt like by the end of that show, I could at least go do some damage with jewelry. Probably damage would be all I do. But I mean, she just had like all this knowledge about these different metals and what to look for in terms of a specific type of jewelry and what would sell and what wouldn't. And I remember in I think it was in Austin, she told the story about some pillow she found and ended up selling for like $130 or something crazy like that.
Well, did you see those the hoop earrings she got for a couple bucks the other day? Like
yes.
I had to give her a high five on that one because she found some, you know, in a I don't know if it was even a jar, but she found these gold earrings and she paid like maybe $3 or $4 for them, and by weight they were 105. I'm going to say this wrong, but it was $100+ on those earrings. So
yeah, just the fact that you can walk into a thrift store and find something, you know, literally that's going to be worth $100 and you might pay 5 or 10 for.
And she's just one of those just like sunshiny people. Like you can't help but talk to her, and every time I get on the phone with her or on a whatever, anything with her, it's like I get this big smile that won't go off my face because she's always positive, she's always friendly, she's always happy. I don't think.
Yeah, and people were mentioning in the chat, she has great haul videos too,
Yes.
something which I'm terrible at and don't do very well with. But Tanya does them in a way that makes them interesting and makes you think, I might actually find that one day. Whereas when I do them, you don't feel that way. But she's really good at doing them. And
well, she likes it. You don't like it.
Well,
that's the difference.
That's probably a good part of it. Let's see, where are we at now?
I don't know. That one. You're just gonna jump right to the next one?
Yes. Next up. Yeah, that is the next one, right?
Yeah. Well, I thought you were still on screen share though.
No, I'm not. No, we're right here.
Oh, I was probably making funny faces. I wasn't paying attention.
Hey guys, by the way, we have 130 people watching, so thank you very much for coming out today to watch this kind of special sort of off-topic show. But we appreciate you guys here, and we hope you're enjoying the show and the content. And if you are, Kaaren,
smash the like button, mateys.
These faces.
That's for Alex the pirate.
Alex the pirate. Arg.
And Adam's in the chat.
Next up, we are going back to the state of Florida.
Oh, cool.
This is Tracy Smith's channel, Entrepreneur Girl. Tracy is another person who I reached out to pretty early on in my YouTube career here, and she did an awesome interview with me. And Tracy, I mean, as I said on the interview that night, okay, for all of those of you out there that are making excuses, whatever those excuses may be.
This is great.
Tracy has 8 children that are homeschooled and still runs a full-time business and is a wife as well. If that doesn't inspire you to higher levels, I don't really know what will. And if that doesn't inspire you to think what is possible, I mean, we struggle with just our one child. But I mean, she has 8 kids, runs this business, buys and sells things, thrifts, Amazon FBA, coaches on the side, has a website she runs, and a YouTube channel.
And if you call her, she'll answer. Like she's reachable. She's not out of reach, and she's just
because I reached out to her pretty early on, you know, and she is another one of those just really awesome, positive people out there. And you definitely should check out her channel. She has a website that goes with it too, entrepreneurgirl.net, I think. And Tracy's awesome. So we gotta get her back on the show. We gotta get some of these people back on the channel. I just realized that. like we have an issue there.
We need to go back to those interviews and all those collaborative things.
Who wants to see more interviews? Raise your hand in the chat. If it needs like a virtual
something like a voting thing.
Hand raising. But yeah. So anyway, all right. What do we got here? Next up, I would be remiss.
This is one of my new favorites.
This is one of our new favorite channels. And this is another person that we know from the green room. And this is none other than Eric, the college picker.
Yay!
Eric is a super sharp guy. And I met Eric in person for the first time this past July at the Green Room event in Austin. And we've had several messages and conversations back and forth. And Eric is a pharmacist by education and trade. You can see here on this first video, he's at a pharmacy.
He's a wicked smart guy.
But he's also doing this cool, crazy van trip around the United States.
Van life.
Living in a van, trying to pay off his educational debt. So he's trying to live super cheap while working, you know, these
contract jobs at different pharmacies.
Right.
And thrifting and shipping and processing.
And sleeping in a van down by the river.
I knew you were going to
say
down by the river.
Eric is awesome though. Like he had this, his channel comes across as like a combination of a thrifting channel and reselling channel, as well as a travel vlog, which is really cool.
Well, and he's a worldly guy. I mean, he also bikes, and he's been all over the place, and he's biked all over the place. And those have been some of my most favorite videos. But I love that when he wakes up in the morning, he says, "Good morning" to the grandmas. And I think that's the sweetest thing. I just do. And I just think it's sweet. He's a neat guy.
Eric, and let me tell you something else about Eric that I find impressive from the creator standpoint. His videos look great. I mean, he uploads segments, he puts in music, he'll put in effects, he'll put in graphics. And a lot of times he is having to drive between places to find reliable Wi-Fi to do it. So just kind of like that sort of drive, the fact that he still maintains and publishes content that looks really sharp without having, you know, this all the time 100% internet is amazing.
Well, and he just did a meetup. The one that we watched again this morning, wasn't that a meetup in Sacramento? Isn't that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he met up at a coffee shop and met a couple fellas, and it was just so neat that he's doing it. He's living the life, and he's getting through it, and he's buying the things and selling them and shipping them from Arizona.
Yeah, he's literally buying on the road and shipping as he goes. And so for all you those who cannot figure out shipping, contact Eric, because he's literally shipping from all around the country all around the country.
From a van.
From a van. So it can be done. But Eric's great, and definitely you should check out his channel. Next up is another person who is not really a reseller. But
no, not another one.
Well, you know, I just find that, you know, Eric is just, or not Eric, this next person is just really an inspirational guy. And that's Pat Flynn. Some of you guys know him from smartpassiveincome.com. And what I like about Pat is he is an entrepreneur through and through. I don't know Pat. I've never met him, but I feel like if I started talking to him within like 1 minute, I would feel like I'd known him forever. He was he just seems like such a great, genuine guy. And Pat really knows how to build a business.
He does.
In every aspect of it. He built a business. He started as an architect, and during the downturn in the housing market back several years ago, he decided to build a website to help people pass an exam that architects have to take. Some other people have to pass it too. And he realized he was on to something because the site was pretty successful, and he built a business from that. And so he started a business, you know, based around that website. He built some other niche websites. If you've ever wanted to build a website, Pat is a great person to learn from. He knows all about setting up email lists and being able to, is everything right? Yeah. Setting up email lists and things like that. I just think he's one of those guys. I mean, again, not exactly a reseller for sure, but Pat knows how to build a business. Mm-hmm. And that to me, like, here's the thing, guys. One of the things, like, we have some Amazon associate link thing, affiliate link, we have some books that I like that I've read and gotten a lot of benefit from. You need to like immerse yourself in other people's way of seeing problems and so on to learn from. You can't, because here's what happens. Like when somebody's really successful in a niche, a lot of people want to emulate them, which is cool. But then what happens is that eventually that niche can sort of get stagnant and die because there's no innovation coming in. People aren't really growing and evolving. And so you've always got to expose yourself to people outside of your niche that have other expertise and other types of businesses and so on, and choose wisely. But if you choose wisely, you're going to find people that can really help you in your business by taking their ideas and applying it to what you do. Yeah, check out Pat's as well. So love Pat Flynn. All right. Along those same lines is another guy who you may or may not have heard of. And Steve Raiken actually did an interview with this person. And that is none other than Stefan from Project Life Mastery. And Stefan is probably a test case for how to build multiple streams of revenue, something that should be on your mind if it's not already. He has a huge investment portfolio, which he shared exactly what he's invested in. I'm pretty sure it's over $1 million portfolio now in just a few years. But super positive guy, talks a lot about goal setting, how to set your goals, how to plan your day. He did this video on his morning ritual 5 years ago, which has been really successful. He does talk some about like reselling as well. I don't know that he does a lot of reselling and so on, but he does talk to people like, here's a video, biggest mistakes newbie Amazon sellers make. And he interviews people as well. I like his brain. I like his drive. And I like the way he approaches, just being in business for yourself. Somebody that, and I think Steve had him as I'm pretty sure Steve had him as an interview back probably maybe a year ago, 8 or 9 months ago. That's how he came up on my radar. So I've been kind of following him as I go. So check him out if you get a chance as well. All right, we're getting down towards the end here. So who's going to be left? Who's still on the list, Kaaren? Who do you think is still on the list?
I don't know. There's lots of debate in the chat.
All right, we're going to go a little old school here, and we're going to go back to one of the first people who really—
The beginnings.
The beginnings. This person was really instrumental in helping me out with my YouTube channel, and that is none other than Chad Pagel, the Golden Finger Picker. Chad has been in the reselling community for a long time, and he was one of the first people that really started mentioning me on YouTube. I caught his eye somehow. He was on this kick where he was finding new resellers to talk about and their channels and so on, and we connected. And I've been very thankful for, the initial, push that Chad gave me. He came on my channel. I came on his channel. And Chad is one of these guys who says, don't walk by money. He's like, if I can make money on it and it's reasonable, I'm going to do it. And he is one of the, he's one of those people, he can find the most unique things. If you want to go wide and have that approach, Chad is a great person to learn from. So I think I know a lot of you probably have already seen his channel before, but if you haven't, you definitely can learn a lot about that wide approach.
Well, and he likes this certain singer, right? What's her name?
Well, I've heard that he's a fan of Selena.
A little bit.
Yeah, he might be a fan of Selena. I don't know. You may want to ask him. Maybe he's not anymore. It's possible, but I don't know. And
we passed up a DVD once and got in trouble for it.
Yeah, or a CD. Yeah.
Well, the CD. We sent him the DVD, but the CD we didn't. And I said, we should buy this. And Jason's like, no.
No, I don't think so. And he was like, what? You should have bought that. I would have paid you for it. Blah. And I was like, all right, next time. But speaking of people at the beginning, so to speak, this guy I learned a lot from early on, especially about clothing, and that is none other than Ronnie Hart's Pickers. Ronnie Hart has a wealth of knowledge about clothing specifically, but he sells some other things too. Ronnie's been a full-timer at this for a while. Somebody was talking in the chat about part-time and full-time. And yeah, and these people are all different levels. Several of them, I wouldn't say they were all part-time. I'd say actually most of them are kind of full-time actually. But Ronnie has been a great source of information in the thrifting community because this guy has one of the highest average selling prices I've ever seen for clothing.
Yeah.
His average selling price must be over $50, which for pre-owned clothing is pretty freaking good. And a couple other resellers and I were like, man, how does he find this stuff? Like we look and look and look and look. An eye for it. He's got an eye for it. He's built the knowledge around it.
Well, and he's got a super secret source for all this high-end stuff that he's not telling. No, I'm just kidding.
A super secret source?
Well, and he's another duo. He's another team, you know, yeah. Gretchen. And I got to do a video with her on Yvonne's channel. You know, the better halves, is that what it was called?
Yes.
The other halves.
The other halves.
And they're working together towards it, and that's really cool too. But he's another one that's been just really generous when you reach out to, and has been helpful. And Luke, you know, we talked about, Luke talked a lot, very highly of Ronnie and how he's helped him as well.
Yeah. No.
Because we're more jeans, or at the time we were more jeans, and Luke and Ronnie could really connect on the suits and the higher end stuff, right? Right.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's a great point. So definitely check out Ronnie's channel if you haven't seen him before or haven't seen him in a while, because I mean, he just has knowledge about all kinds of stuff that's just crazy. And that was one of the things I liked about him right off the bat. And he's very no nonsense about it too, which is cool. I can appreciate that for sure. Let's see. Next up is back to the state of Texas again. How can we not get out of Texas? Deb at Pinching Pesos. Deb has a cool show that she does. You can see here the Resellers Stew, where she brings together, I think it's all female resellers and thrifters, but there might be a man or two in there occasionally. I could be wrong on that. And she's been doing this show for a while. Like she's up in the 60s in the episode. So Deb has been really awesome to me as well, like behind the scenes. She gave me some great advice along the way and has been really supportive of me and Kaaren in this channel as well. And
she's another, she looks at things differently. Like she's intuitive. She's, and she'll come like from out of the blue, she'll send you a note and make a suggestion, not necessarily about reselling, but you know, about YouTube or this or a keyword or that. And it's just amazing. She's just really neat. And another one that I haven't met yet that I look forward to meeting.
And apparently she likes to wear spiders on her head.
Well, so, if that's just not enough all by itself.
I mean, that alone right there. Yeah.
If we can't laugh at ourselves.
Yeah. She's another one of those Texas girls. They're all over the place. I don't know what to say about all this Texas.
Something, maybe we're living in the wrong state. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Let's see here.
We're winding down. How many more we got?
Oh, I think we're done. Oh, wait, maybe we're not quite done. There might be.
No, wait, what's that one on the left of that?
There might be.
It's a no one? Oh.
There might be one more.
One more.
There might be one more. There might be one more. And actually, you know, you kind of do have to save the best for last.
Oh. Who might that be?
There's one channel, there's one person out there that I think I love to watch and I've learned more from than anybody else. And that is without a doubt my very own Kaaren.
You're just such a stinker.
From Just Ask Kaaren.
You don't know? Jack.
And Karen's channel has nothing to do with reselling.
No.
But she has everything to do with me.
So, listen to you.
Oh, that's a good turn of phrase, wasn't it?
Aw, you just got mushy.
Kaaren just started her channel not too long ago. And like I said, the channel is more about her own personal journeys and adventures and so on.
Talk about putting it all out there.
But I'm just going to say this, guys, like if you have somebody in your life who's supportive and lifts you up and is encouraging and is, you know, there for you to bounce ideas off and listens to your harebrained schemes, like Kaaren does for me, like you will, I mean, that will go a long ways towards helping you with your business. So you know, and I know not everybody has that person, but if you do, definitely, you know, cherish them and use that to your advantage, because that doesn't come along very often. So I am very appreciative of my Kaaren. So.
I think we're both crying.
But yeah, but that's the list, guys. I think that was like 2, 4, 6.
A bunch.
I think it was like 18 people total. I didn't really come up with a set number. I'm curious what you guys' list are. I'm sure some of you have mentioned more in the chat. We didn't catch every single one.
Well, and we did. And there's some like we can't miss that. And, you know, there's one we didn't talk about that I have the biggest crush on, but we'll talk about that. We'll make another show because we didn't mention everybody. There's some people I'm sure that we could still talk about.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. And thank you, Rob, for the super chat. Krillin876, who also has a YouTube channel you should check out, where he does a lot of stuff with. And he, you know, Rob does not let me forget, go to estate sales. And I'm the worst about doing it. And he's absolutely correct.
I think we should just start every show by saying, like a little bulletin, go to estate sales, estate sales, estate sales, estate sales, just
and
for
he's
Rob.
Right. And I'm terrible about doing it. And I see signs, there's estate sales everywhere. I mean, there's houses all over this place. But he's absolutely right.
Well, I want to, Rob, just come on the show. You come on this show and we'll do an entire show dedicated to estate sales. Come on. We know you can do it. We know you can make video. We know you can come on. Just do it. Because we were just talking this morning about you and your channel.
That's right. We were talking about you. But yeah, I'm curious too, if you guys have other people that you, I'm going to post that as probably the first question and pin it as a comment. The first comment on this video is, what are some of the other YouTubers that, you know, you like to watch that will help your business grow? It could be resellers. I mean, that's important, guys. But some of the people on this list were not resellers. And the reason I include them is because they speak to other parts of my psyche, other parts of, you know, where I find my motivation from and inspiration. That is important. I mean, never forget, this is not just tactics. You've got to have an overall strategy. You've got to be able to wake up every day and be positive about this and find your why. Like sometimes re-find your why, because you lose it sometimes. And if there's somebody out there who does that for you, I'd love to hear who they are in the comments.
Yep. And surround yourself with like-minded people, like-minded energy, like-minded thoughts. And I think from your earlier poll of hands in the chat, you've just got to go back to this interview thing, like, and maybe stretch a little bit. You know, one of the things that we've talked about doing is bringing people on the show that aren't necessarily resellers, that have either a teacher's sharing heart or an entrepreneurial spirit, that, you know, could share what motivates them, what motivates them to try harder, what motivates them to get up and going in the morning, what motivates them to share what they do with other people.
Yeah, and I think too that you know, if you get in a mastermind group, or you just are networking with a group of people, even informally, look for people who are outside of reselling, if that's your niche, you know, if that's your business model, because you're going to learn things from them that you're not going to learn in this niche. Because again, it goes back to, we kind of get this groupthink mentality sometimes about, oh, we've got to do it this way because that's what's permeated the community and everybody believes that. And sometimes it's good advice and sometimes it's not the best advice. The only way you evolve is to expose yourself to new ideas, new people who think about it differently, who view it differently. I was just talking to my guy today, you know, the guy helping me with the spreadsheet, and like the way he was thinking about some things, I thought, and things he said, and he didn't know me.
That was really cool, that whole conversation.
Yeah, I was on a Skype call with this guy from England for about 30 or 45 minutes this morning, and he was just talking about some different ways that I could go about, you know, the spreadsheet and so on, and how it's set up. And I was like, man, why did I not think of that before? Because you get in this mindset, you know, like this is the way it's done, and you never even consider sometimes a different way, because we think, oh, I've mastered that, I've got it. Well, you don't ever master anything. That's the reality. So find people in other niches and so on as well, which is always good to do.
It was like, talk about like the Prof Math phone call. It was that phone call this morning. Like they started like they were twins, right? They geeky. Started talking their own language at one point, and I was like, what?
Yeah. So Yeah, lots of great comments. I'm sorry we didn't get as much chance. I didn't realize that list was going to take quite that long to go through.
And that's why the list was, and again, it didn't exclude certain people or include others. I mean, there's still a wealth of people out there that help us and make a difference. So please don't take if we said your name or didn't say your name as an endorsement or not. This is just the tip of the iceberg, right? And we'll do this again. We'll see what kind of a reaction it gets, right? I'm sure.
And part of us asking you for comments on who your inspirations are and the people you guys find value from, we'll learn some new people. I mean, there's a selfish motive here to some degree. Like, we'll learn about some people we didn't know about, and that we can go connect to and see what we can gain from them, glean from them, because you can learn from pretty much anybody if you're open to it, and you know they exist. The problem is the YouTube universe is huge, and there's just so many people out there that put out content rarely or just aren't as pervasive or as widespread, but it's quality, and you just don't know about it until somebody tells you and say, hey, check out so and so. Okay. All right. Wow. That was fun. That was good. That was fun. All right, guys. So thanks for coming by today. We appreciate all the comments, the great chat going as well. And, I hope that you guys got something from it. I hope you can find some content that you like on these channels we showed you. And we have, and I'm sure there'll be others that'll come up in the comments, but we really appreciate it. Yes, we do. And by the way, don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the content on your way out the door, and check out the links down below. Smash it for all kinds of info. Helpful links in the description. Lots of stuff down there. Too much to even really talk about. So, and we're out of time. So we're out of time. What do we say? Besides happy sales to you, this is Just Ask Kaaren and Prof Sales saying good sales to you.